So today I wanted to make a video about recovery and just some of my tips for when you're starting to reach a point where it feels like you're burning out or you're feeling exhausted. If you are new here, I'm currently on tour with Usher. We are doing 60 plus shows all across America. It's a lot of traveling, it's a lot of dancing, and it can become overwhelming if I don't tend to myself and tend to my recovery. One of the first things that I can recommend to deal with recovery and identifying what are the points in my body that need some extra attention is stretching and yoga. A lot of our stress actually sits in our body, and through movement, through stretching it out, you can release a lot of that overwhelm and tension. So that's one thing that I've really been trying to do, is just take those small 15-minute blocks in my day to do a little bit of stretching, to do a little bit of yoga before the shows, and also on my off days. It doesn't have to be a whole workout, but just taking those little pockets of time to stretch has made such a difference for me in feeling like I am dropping into my body, giving my muscles and my joints and everything the attention that they deserve. And it's also just a moment that I'm taking just for myself and nobody else. It's not serving anybody but myself and my body. And I think that's what I love so much about physical movement and stretching and doing things like that. If you need help with stretching, I have a lot of different stretching flexibility videos, guided videos here on this channel. So go ahead and check those out. I'll make sure to link it. The next tip that I want to talk about is taking solo dates and doing things on your own. And that's been something that I've kind of struggled to do on this tour, because it's so tempting to always want to go out with other people and go out with the people on the tour and go drinking and go party. And even though I do participate in those things, I also take time to go on little solo dates and take myself to lunch or go to the park or go on a walk. And ever since I started doing that, I feel like I have more time to process my thoughts, to process complex emotions. And I also have little adventures, and I feel like I get to connect with myself and learn more about myself, which helps me to show up more authentically in the shows, in the work environment, and also in my social life. So take yourself on a little solo date, take yourself to lunch, take yourself to the park, take yourself on a hike, or maybe even just lay in bed and read a book or Netflix and chill by yourself. Anything that you do that's going to be by yourself, that's going to allow you to not have to adhere to anyone else's expectations or cater to anyone else's feelings, and just focusing on yourself for a little bit really does make such a difference in feeling rejuvenated. The next tip that I want to talk about is taking actual days off. And that doesn't mean just taking a day off work but still doing housework and cleaning. Truly taking time to do nothing at all. I think especially as a creative person, it's important to have time where you're not having any expectations for yourself, where it's okay to just do nothing. And that's really hard for someone like me that's hyper productive, hyper independent, but sometimes that's exactly what you need, is just a day to truly do nothing at all. And then the next day, you'll be like, I'm ready to jump back into things. And I think just giving ourselves permission to be like, hey, I don't feel like doing anything today, so I'm not going to, and just allowing yourself to listen to that voice for the day, oftentimes that helps me to recuperate the day after, because I feel like I took the time to really rest and recover. So lay in your bed or make a cozy little spot in your apartment, or whatever that means for you. Go to the beach and lay in the sand on a towel at the park. There's so many ways that you can just truly let your mind and your body rest, and it'll make such a difference. The next thing that I want to talk about is the next tip I want to talk about is mirror work. And I love that I'm talking about this, and there's literally this big mirror right here. I'll show you guys. And what mirror work is really just playing in the mirror and having fun, whether that be dancing or smiling or lip syncing, playing some of your favorite music and just vibing in the mirror. I think it feels so good to reclaim just moving for yourself and not moving for an audience or not moving to please others, but really just like moving for you and whatever feels good in your body or whatever you like. It can really help you to build a stronger relationship with yourself and a stronger self-esteem, self-confidence. And I love doing mirror work. I feel like mirror work is definitely how I have been able to develop my own unique style. And I know it might sound like really vain, but to a degree, if you're not gonna love yourself, then no one else will either. So if you wanna be vain, I say go ahead and be vain, bitch, because life is too short. Now, the tip that comes after that one, it's kind of like a similar tip, but just dance for yourself, especially if you're a dancer or you dance in the club, whatever it is. Make sure that you take time to just dance and move for yourself because it can be so healing, and you can also re-remind yourself what makes you feel sexy, what do you actually enjoy doing in your body. Especially on this tour, I've had to take time outside of the performances to also just dance for myself, to stay in my flow and remind myself like, what is my flow. And I think that's why I love having a pole in my house so much, is because I could just dance at any time, and it really helped me to just tap into the flow state. And if I'm more familiar with what that flow state feels like, it's easier for me to access that when I'm actually on the stage. The next tip is to create art. Something about creating, whether that be making something with your hands or making videos or making songs and singing or dancing, whatever your form of art is, it can be so healing to connect with that inner child or with that creativity and imagination that oftentimes we don't remember to, oftentimes we just don't set aside to do things that are just fun. So I love art. I think art is extremely healing because it allows you to focus on something outside of our daily responsibilities. And also it gives an outlet for expression of feelings and emotions that maybe you don't know how to express with words, or maybe it's just an emotion that needs to come out. And I think that art is a really great way to funnel whatever you have on your heart. And I have used art throughout my life to help cope with whatever I was going through. So I definitely think that creating art that is a different outlet from what you make money with is something that can really feed the soul. The next tip I have is writing and journaling. I'm definitely glad I brought my journal here on this tour, and honestly, I should probably journal more because I want to be able to remember all the little memories and remember how I was feeling through all of this, because even though we're 21 shows in, I already can't remember what city we were in last. It all just starts to get mushed together, and I would love to just start writing in my journal more and being more in touch with the present in that way, but also being able to see how far I've come since the beginning, because I think that that is also extremely motivating in times of feeling not so motivated. I think it's important to connect with your own emotions and feelings. It's so easy to process your emotions and feelings and process the things that have happened with somebody else before you even know how you feel about it. And I think that taking the time to yourself to journal really helps you to ask yourself how you feel about things and helps you to identify your own intuition, so that you can make decisions that do feel aligned with who you are, and so that you can also have a good understanding of who you are and where you're at. And it's just a really good way to check in. So the next one that I want to talk about is masturbation and self-touch. And I know that that might sound silly, but it's something that is really important to me and something that I do to reclaim touch on my own terms, especially as someone that has been an S worker for 8.5 years. Like it's so nice to be able to just have a pleasurable experience on my own without the need to make it look good, or without the need to worry about someone else's feelings, or just to have a moment of desire and lust with myself. can be very refreshing because it feels like I'm pouring back into myself that same energy that I am giving out that makes other people feel so good, right? So making sure that you're cutting some time out of your day every day or every few days to show that pleasure to yourself. I love using toys. I have a bunch of different toys. I don't know if I can show you guys them, but I literally have a bag with me full of toys. And it's just kind of fun for me, honestly, to play with these different toys and see just, it's a fun little hobby of mine, I guess. And there's always unhealthy addiction to certain things, but then there's a degree of I just deserve to feel good every day. And I think that that's okay. And just doing everything with mindfulness. Flick the bean, okay? It will help you to reconnect with yourself and to have a clear mind and to just feel like a baddie. It'll make you feel like, yes, I am sexy, I am worth it, I am amazing. And just try it and let me know if it makes you feel better and makes your day better, because it probably will. The next tip I have is to spend time with a friend. Sometimes spending time with a friend really can be so refreshing, and it can really help you to ground, especially if it's somebody that brings you comfort and somebody that you can trust or someone that you just really have a good time with. Any of those things will be rejuvenating. And doing a little activity together or a little bonding thing can be fun, like go on a little adventure or go get something to eat or whatever it is. Sometimes it helps to just get out of your normal routine and go and do something fun. Maybe you guys want to go see a concert or go to a festival or go horseback riding. Go and do something that's a little bit different than what you normally do every day, because sometimes we really are just craving adventure or we're craving fun and we're craving connection. So just remembering to tap into those things as well. Like sometimes on this tour I'm getting really busy and I forget, hey, I want to go and have fun too and go and do fun things and explore the places that I'm visiting. I don't just want to work and then sleep, right? So make the time to see a friend, make the time to make those connections and to really just be present in whatever you're doing and do something that isn't work. Do something that is purely just for fun and entertainment. Another tip that I have is to watch your comfort show or your comfort YouTuber. Some of you guys tell me that I'm your comfort YouTuber, and that makes me feel so good to know that, because I also have my comfort YouTubers and my comfort TV shows. I watch Florence Givens, I watch Journey Carr. Just certain creators make me feel comfort and certain TV shows make me feel comfort. And at the end of the day, it's so simple. Sometimes I just turn on one of these creators or one of these TV shows and I really just feel more regulated and I feel happy and I get to just relax my mind. So if you like to consume content, make sure that you have your comfort show or your comfort creators, and whenever you want to feel some of that comfort, you can access their videos or keep up with their videos every week. Keep up with my videos every week. And that can definitely be rejuvenating. But anyways, what I want to do now is go into some stripper specific ways to recover, because I know I have a lot of fellow dancers on this page and I think that recovery for that can be kind of specific. So first I want to talk about cleansing club energy from your body, because a lot of the time we can take a lot of that energy home with us from the club, and there's a couple ways I recommend doing that. For example, shower immediately when you get home, take those clothes off, take your outfit off, and really just like rub down your body. I love my shower after a shift at the club. I love just like rinsing the day off and really just taking the time to take a nice shower and do your self-care. And maybe burn a candle, burn some incense, wash your sheets, make sure that your bed is clean. Don't count your money on your bed. Just be conscious of the energy that you're bringing into your home, which is your safe space, and make sure there's some separation between work and personal life. So I have my little money counting station, but then besides that, I have like comfort zones of my house. And I try not to like dump my money out on my bed. And I'm not saying this from a judgmental place. I'm just saying this from a place of like, I've been there. And it feels better when I do these tips. Make sure that you're resetting between the shifts or between the tour dates. So if you have a day off, make sure you're not using that day off to go out drinking and tire yourself out even more. The next tip I have for dancers at the club is to be as effective as you can on the job. So make sure that you're being sustainable. Find an amount of times that you can go per week that you can actually sustain. If you're going to the club every single day, you're going to reach a point of burnout. So for me, a nice sweet spot was like 3 times a week. And that might not seem like a lot of times a week, but I was working my ass off those 3 nights a week. Those 3 nights a week, I was locked the fuck in. So the more locked in you are each night, I think the less that you really have to be in that environment. So whatever balance that you can find is going to be unique to you, but keep that in mind. Another tip that I have that I can make a whole video about is, I can make so many videos about this, but having a work persona versus a real life you. And it really helps to compartmentalize the character that you are at work versus knowing how to consciously take it off afterwards and really get your rest and your real person time, because you definitely don't have to be the fantasy all the time. So it helps to have a character that you just step into and then put away at the end of the night. So going off that, my next tip was being able to be yourself outside of work. So having a life outside of work, not feeling like you have to be on 24/7. I hope that you can find people who love you for who you are and that you have people who really see who you are, because it does make a difference, especially when we're at work being a fantasy, playing a role every night. It helps to have a circle, even if it's small, just you connect with people that let you be yourself, or just connect with hobbies that let you feel yourself, and just making sure you have a life outside of work can really help to avoid burnout. And all of this is coming from a place of knowing that this career is not easy. I feel like 1 year in this career can feel like a month, and it can also feel like 5 years, really depending on where you're at in your journey. I have been through a lot of highs, through a lot of lows. I never really thought I would still be dancing at this point, but I love dancing, and I'm really happy to still be here and to be elevating and to be on this tour. It's really larger than life, but I also have worked super hard to get here and have went through multiple periods of burnout, and multiple times where I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Maybe I don't even like dancing, and many moments of self-doubt. And I just want to say that from experience and from doing this as long as I have, if you want to be a dancer long term, you have to understand that there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be periods of time where you're making a lot of money and you feel motivated, and then there's going to be periods of time where you're going through slow season and you're like, I never want to dance again. And whether you decide to never dance again or not, I support you either way. Every person's journey is different. It's really important to me now, as I get older, as I've been dancing for longer, I want to be able to dance as long as I can and feel good as long as I can. What I want to say with this video is that recovery isn't selfish, it's maintenance. It's just something that we have to do, and it's important to do because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you definitely can't dance from one either. So try some of these, ditch what doesn't work and keep what does. And if you need more support than a YouTube video, that's okay. Reach out to somebody. We have a social group here for red light therapy on WhatsApp. So go ahead and join that social chat. There's so many babes from all over the world, and it's such a sweet, beautiful community, and I would love to have you guys there. So I will see you guys in the next video. I love you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new here. If you're not new here, thank you so much for returning for another video, and I will see you guys in the next one.